It was around 2007. I was doing a sports update for ESPN at Yankee Stadium. I finished mine, and then a kid from Fordham's radio station, WFUV, did his. After listening, I turned to the student at Yankee Stadium and said, I think you should be on my station, ESPN, and I should be on yours. Now, almost 2 decades later, Ryan Ruocco is one of the play-by-play stars of ESPN, calling the WNBA Finals, the NCAA Women's Final Four, the NBA, and on Yes with the Yankees and Nets. That is why I wanted to have Ryan Ruocco on the main event. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. I still remember that, man. I remember sitting in the old stadium press box and you saying that. I think we both found our proper career footing since then.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the other thing is I was covering the Yankees back then, and a couple of my colleagues who worked for, or do still work for Newsday, Anthony Reber and Jim Baumbach, in the stadium, you must have been about 22, 23, used to do the in-stadium video hits, and you'd be like, you'd do some real stuff interviewing, but you'd also be like at the steak, at like this is like the new steak you could buy. And
YY steak. Yeah.
I said, that guy, that he's going to be a star. And they would be like, no way. And anyways, so in my head, you're always steaks. In my, because I said that kid is going to be a big star, and they believe me. It's kind of been a running joke between the three of us for a long time now that Steaks is actually on ESPN.
I love it, man. Yeah, it was selling NYY steak and Steiner Sports memorabilia.
Oh yeah, Steiner Sports.
Do the trivia with that on the scoreboard, and yeah, hey, you know what? It was a lot of incredible reps of being live on the air on camera. And it was great exposure because it was Yankee Stadium on a big screen.
Yeah, and pressure, like you said, big crowds and people watching. We have a sponsor, WSC Sports. A lot of you already use them, and if you do, they have something that you can use now without any extra charge. Asset management capabilities have been added to the platform out of the box, no extra cost for all clients, old and new. So if you're a league, your team, your network, no longer do you need to juggle or pay for multiple tools, complete your content workflows. It happens all in one place. Go to WSC Sports in the show notes, click the link, yellow demo, and tell them Marchand sent you. We're a twice-a-week podcast. You can upgrade and subscribe at andrewmarchand.com. You go to Fordham. Bring us back to 2000. Why Fordham?
Well, actually, I started my collegiate career at Loyola in Maryland, and I was miserable there. And I was mostly miserable because at the time I had a girlfriend who was back in the New York area. I didn't like the culture of Baltimore, whatever. Towards the end of my freshman year at Loyola, I started hosting a sports talk show there, which I knew I wanted to get into broadcasting. I knew that's where I wanted my career to go, with a guy named Bobby Preddy, who's still a close friend to this day of mine. Best, smartest Yankee fan I know. Shout out, Bobby. He knew I wanted to transfer closer to home, and he was like, Fordham has an unbelievable radio station. I applied there and a couple other local places to, I'm from Dutchess County, so I'm from New York. When I got in there, I met with Bob Aarons, who was our executive producer of WFUV Sports, and he took me through the radio station, told me about, being a beat writer in the Yankees clubhouse as a collegiate student, and I was just totally hooked and enthralled. And then in my 3 years at WFUV at Fordham, I just completely immersed myself. I would spend hour after hour at that radio station, and we would have all kind of guests from the industry come in and give us workshops, and it was just basically the best acceleration of the learning curve you could possibly have. And what's funny is, if you would have asked me at the time what would have been the best move for my career when I was at Loyola, I would have said staying at Loyola. And it's dumb to transfer right now. But I felt like in my heart and my gut I had to. That girlfriend didn't last long into my Fordham career, but me following my gut actually took me to what ended up best for my career.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer, follow your gut. Fordham, of course, we'll get into this. Vin Scully, Mike Breen, Michael Kay, Spiro Dedes. The list goes on and on. You, of course, if you want to listen to the rest of the podcast, go to andrewmarchand.com, andrewmarchand.com to upgrade. Listen to all of our podcasts twice a week, Tuesdays, Marchand and Mita Perel, where we just talk about all the big issues in sports media, andrewmarchand.com. You're